Welcome, everybody, to Ignite What's Next. While we live in some of the most exciting times in technology at this moment, it becomes imperative for all of us to sit together and decide, what is this future going to look like? How is this future going to unfold? Because, as I've always said, cybersecurity is one of the most innovative subsectors of technology, because not only do we have to think about how to innovate in this world, we have to, one, stay one step ahead of the bad guys, because trust me, those guys are also looking at the wonderful opportunity that AI and quantum is going to offer, and are trying to prepare for a future where they sharpen their tools and figure out how to use those technologies for their benefit. At the same time, our job is to anticipate how those technologies will evolve, and how do we prepare for a future and allow our customers to build all this technology into their infrastructure in a secure fashion. So, never a more exciting time. With that, good luck and enjoy the presentations.
Whoop, whoop.
All right. Oh my God.
Oh, are we doing this?
We had to.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh, it's everywhere.
Yeah. I need a vacuum cleaner.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here with everyone. I know we just kind of kicked off, but for those of you guys that don't know, my name is Sarian. Everyone knows me as CybersecurityGirl, and I am here with two other amazing human beings, Matt and Ashish, and we are hosting the Palo Alto Network's kind of watch party for an event that happened last week, which was honestly the coolest thing ever. It was called Ignite What's Next Party, and it was basically going through all what Palo Alto is doing and what they're working on, and it got me so pumped about like the future of cybersecurity and what Palo Alto is doing, including the browser. So I'm going to let Ashish and Matt introduce themselves and tell everyone what they're most excited about. But Matt, why don't we start with you and do a little intro too?
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm now buried in confetti. That was way bigger than I thought. Yeah, Matt Johansen, founder of Vulnerable U, longtime cybersecurity practitioner. And yeah, now I'm going to do my best Eli Manning cast impression, and we're going to live react to some really cool announcements. Agree with Caitlin. Like, there was some like stuff I did not know was coming from Palo Alto Networks on this stream, and yeah, I'm excited to talk about them today.
Well, I'm looking forward. I was gonna say I always wanted to do this. That I finally got an opportunity to do this. So that's it. But my name is Ashish. I am a CISO for. Well, I'm gonna talk about my company, but I've been a CISO for a while. I've been in the industry for 15 plus years. On the internet, I'm more known for my two podcasts. One is called Cloud Security Podcast. The other one is called AI Security Podcast. And I'm looking forward to the announcements and spending time with both of you, and maybe having a few laughs and some dramatic moments.
Yes.
By the way, I got my Times Square mic for anyone who cares. I'm in New York for this. Got my Times Square mic for $5. Bargained it.
Yeah. One thing we just watched, and we're kind of doing like a watch party. So it's exactly like kind of how Eli and Peyton Manning are doing watch parties for the NFL. We are doing this with this event because it was so good. But they just said that, we are all working on our browsers. Like 85% of work is done on our browsers. So this is a really cool section about how they're protecting the browsers. Palo Alto Network is protecting the browsers.
Not just protecting the browsers, launched their own like enterprise browser, which I think is just was the biggest announcement I saw today. So I'm glad that like we're starting off with it, right? Like every major like headline hack that you're reading these days, well, not every, but the vast majority of are happening between the browser and some sort of SaaS platform. Yeah, there you go. There's your stat.
Yeah, 95% of organizations report a browser-based attack, which also didn't realize was that prominent, but that's crazy.
Just all of them, right? And like, I do a lot of advisory CISO work, and one of the first things that I tell anyone that I'm working with is like, pause all other initiatives until you solve a lot of this kind of stuff, browser attacks, phishing, things like this, and identity attacks, because that's literally public enemy number one right now on the internet is these kinds of attacks.
Yeah.
And so I was super excited to see this.
I was going to say the 85% is an interesting stat as well for people who work in, well, professional jobs. They probably know this. Most of the work, whether you work on a SaaS or internal apps, all that's done through browser. And I think one more thing that people don't talk about is the extensions in browsers these days. And I think, Matt, you were referring to all the hacks that happen. A lot of problems have stemmed from third-party apps and extensions that have been added to regular browsers. So maybe just to kind of give people some context who may have never heard of enterprise browser, like, hey, I have a Chrome or a Safari or something else. I think the important thing over here to know this as an organization, if you're an enterprise, is that enterprise browsers are different to your MacBook OS app that you get from your Safari. These are more managed by organizations, and they have more control. So there's a lot more trust and safety that goes into using these as well. So it's worthwhile knowing that the reason why this is important, and even though it's been important before AI has definitely shine a lot more light on this, considering we use it every day. ChatGPT, everything is also on those browser consoles. And for me, I'm super excited to hear that more enterprise browsers are coming into this particular space. As someone who has been trying to talk more about AI for the last few years, I definitely see a lot more importance for AI. And yeah, I'm super excited for this.
Yeah. From a general user perspective too, I mean, some of the main issues come from outdated browsers because no one wants to update. Or I will be the first to admit that I don't close or restart my computer that often. So when it says please update in the corner, you're just like, oh, well.
Oh, I name and shame. I name and shame. If you come on Zoom and it's like a big red square in the top of your browser, boy, do I point it out to you for sure.
Wait, how many tabs do you have open, by the way?
Yeah, forget about that. That. Yeah, I mean, the other, you brought up extensions. Let me give you just an example in the enterprise. We can probably let this play. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
but when an developer on your team wants to use an extension, they're going to come in and ask the security team, can I use this extension, right? Even in mature shops that can actually review those kinds of things, what happens, right? Day one, they review it, sometimes based off of vibes, right? Yeah, this looks okay, go ahead and install it. Some of the more mature shops are going to actually have a process or some sort of tool to put it through and say, yeah, this extension is good to go. And then from then on, you don't review it again. That extension is now good to go, and and every update that it gets, you're just going to get. And what we're seeing now is supply chain attacks, where the attackers are actually getting malware into extensions that have been long existed and were useful and were legitimate extensions at some point, that are now sneaking malware into the enterprise that way. And it's just untenable for most security teams to review every update of an extension, right? Even the most mature. So having a browser like this, where you can actually enforce the guardrails through the enterprise to say, oh, nope, this is, must be this tall to ride and to actually get the browser out there, it gives the security teams a lot more control over, any policies that you have about anything, not even touching on DLP. I mean, Ashish, you just said, right? We don't want to be the team that says, no, you can't use ChatGPT for whatever it is. They're going to use it anyway, right? Even if you're the security team that says no. Well, now with a browser like this, you could say, hey, go ahead and use XYZ, but here are the guardrails that are in place in the browser to make sure that the crown jewels aren't going out the door.
Yeah, and I think worthwhile calling out the screen that we are on, and I was waiting for this particular screen because it's worthwhile knowing that most organizations these days allow for people to bring their own laptops, own browsers. Now we're in this particular space where I can't just tell someone, hey, you can only use Windows. And I don't know if anyone uses any of the laptops personally, but BYOD is a particular thing. And I realized that allowing for that balance, to what Matt said, between, hey, you can bring your own device, you can bring your own browser. How do you manage control across that? And how do you be an inclusive environment, especially when most people are bringing their work laptops to offices or maybe the phone to offices? That be the whole idea of securing any work on any device. I think that's key for an enterprise browser here, which means that irrespective of you trying to go to the Bahamas for holidays and want to log in, I can at least be sure that, oh, you may be using your personal laptop, but because you're using an enterprise browser, we should be fine.
Yeah. I was never tall enough to ride the rides.
It wasn't a height joke.
That was a sensitive topic, by the way.
I always took the short bus, if you ask my dad. So,
There you go.
I think we can keep going too. Yeah, this is such a cool slide, and them talking through it is you start realizing how accurate it is. You're right. Everything goes through the browser. It's so important, and every browser needs to work on any device. So it's so cool that they're actually like looking at all of this and taking into consideration and making like building the best Prisma browser.
I think the highlight for me is the last point that was there, which is an amazing user experience. I don't know if you guys notice this, but these days browsers have become what Internet Explorer used to be back in the 90s. It's so slow. You almost feel like, what? And I'm going to run AI on this?
That's a 4-letter word.
It's like having an amazing experience these days, because even when I go and ask a chat question to ChatGPT, I'm expecting the answer to be less than 30 seconds. And the browser takes longer to load a website with all the controls, which is the pain that people used to have. I think having a user experience, which is just something that people love, is a key for any enterprise browser today.
And something else that he just said while we were going is that it's actually a Chromium-based browser. So any of you that like have been focused on browser security, you're probably using some sort of extension that you're paying for to do something. They all work on Chromium-based browsers. So like that's a key point, right? You're not going to like lose compatibility with any of the stuff that you've built around whatever Chromium browser you're using right now.
Actually, because about 90% of browsers, so your Google, Firefox, Brave, they're all on Chromium. I think even Internet Explorer or the Edge browser is also on Chromium now. So it's not even the Windows users. I think Safari probably is not, but that's a good point.
Yeah, Safari and Firefox are different, but yeah, Chromium browser. This was what I was just talking about, by the way. So I kind of jumped the gun on the slide, but like
optimizing for AI,
enable the use, right? This is my big thing. When I promoted this event, what did I say? I said, you know, Palo Alto Networks gets it. We're not trying to be the security team that says no to everything, because guess what? They're going to find ways around you. They're going to try to use the new latest and greatest tools. So how can we let them use the latest and greatest AI tools without like, absolutely letting the crown jewels go out the front door? Here you go. It's built into the browser without any sort of like bolt on, DLP's been a very crazy challenge for you used to work in an environment where there was a corporate network and you could like monitor inflows and outflows of that corporate network. Nowadays, it's everyone just running around with a MacBook, and the whole like zero trust thing happened, right?
Yeah.
Well, here you go. You control the browser. You're going to be able to control a lot of what goes on in the modern work environment.
100%.
Yeah.
I think the data security piece is a big one, especially because DLP, I think to Matt, what you're saying, the DLP can't just be an email or data classification piece anymore. You have so much of it in your browser, especially when you use ChatGPT or anything Anthropic Claude. If you paste in a file, which is your personal file or corporate document in there, I mean, the landscape of security has changed quite a bit. And I'm sure, Caitlin, you have an opinion. I'm sure you have an opinion on the whole personal side of people using it as well, because what does that mean from a browser perspective?
Yeah, I mean, DLP has changed a lot, because actually when I first started in cyber over 10 years ago, we were doing like, DLP scans and scanning the emails, and the amount of stuff that we would find. Well, the FBI had to be called one time. It was a lot, but you never know, one, what people are downloading on their browsers too.
Yeah.
Through any means, right? Or what they're uploading. Like, it's not just like data in motion through email anymore. It's like everything that you do online on a browser that needs to be monitored.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about phishing as well, right? Because I was joking about this some other day. I don't know when was the last time. I haven't seen a Nigerian prince email me for millions of dollars for a while.
Isn't that sad?
I'm like, I don't know. There
Nigerian
was a potential $1 million on the table, like an actual prince trying to look for me. But apparently the smart phishing has to be more focused on finding more about me rather than just offering me $1 million. But I think it gives you a perspective on how much DLP has changed over time.
And we can see it now, like literally this live right now is walking through exactly what happens when someone uses their browser. And
this is kind of the best in class way to do this right now, right? And to be able to do it like in the browser without a bolt on, different kind of solution is a level up, right? And what they're doing is saying, hey, this page that you're on right now is trying to look like a Microsoft login page, but that domain is not Microsoft's login page. I mean, that's the way you detect a lot of phishing these days. It just usually requires a bunch of other layers of capabilities that are now just built in, which is super cool.
Actually, this is an interesting one. I'm sure, Matt, you have your incident response days coming out, but I think for me, this is an interesting one to even have browser logs, metrics, observability come out of this.
It's huge. It's huge.
Because it wasn't a thing before, at least not that I remember.
No, you got to, that's a lot of that. You're cobbling together other data sources, right? So no, that's absolutely huge. you know, and Caitlin, you mentioned, you know, some of the old DLP was scanning emails out. Well, email didn't used to happen through the browser, and now for the vast majority of the time it does, right?
Yeah.
So now you don't have like a separate solution for scanning your email stuff.
Exactly.
So this was, I don't know, this is one of those announcements that I saw and was obvious.
Yeah,
I think when we
were talking about it, we were all like, the browser.
That's so I took notes. I was like, oh wow.
How much has the world changed that we're getting excited about browsers?
Honestly, a good browser is very hard to come by without like privacy concerns or other things, you know, like even like what you were talking about, Ashish, with like the speed, like the speed of the browser is, I was abroad and everything was going so slow. And I was like, was it always this slow? Like, how did anyone get any work done? Like an efficient browser is so important, but we're moving on. Because I think
we're moving on.
Yeah.
Apps and agents.
Yes. Which this is the new wave of AI is agentic security. So I'm so here for it.
Well, yeah, this next like kind of section in general and kind of my notes on this is, you know, Palo Alto Networks, we're talking like securing like both sides of the AI wave is kind of how I describe it, right? So you're not just talking about like securing from like AI type new AI threats, but also like securely using AI in the enterprise, right? In an interesting way. I already mentioned that about the browser, but that's not the only way to kind of worry about guardrails there. And then it's even, you know, we're saying the AI, like shadow AI is like the new thing. Here we go. How do I know my AI footprint, right?
Yeah.
Where that really comes in is every company that we're all using nowadays has built some sort of AI feature into their product. Yep. So now all of a sudden you're using something, you know, an HR tool or something with a bunch of sensitive data in it. And now they're sending data to one of the big AI models, which might be against your corporate policy, right? So even though you've locked down, you know, your users from sending that kind of stuff, are your vendors sending that kind of stuff? And that's where we're kind of getting now.
Actually,
also, users know a way around it. Let's be real.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, but I guess maybe funny enough, I've been spending a lot more time on the AI security space because for I think maybe it's a hot off the press kind of a conversation for this. I'm actually writing a book as well called AI Security Engineering. It's getting published by Wiley, coming out next year. The amount of focus that the amount of things that I've learned about AI in the past 8-9 months just to research for the book. If I were to just explain simply, and for people who saw that previous slide and how many impacts it has, to make it simple for everyone, there are only two sides to it primarily. The one side is what we were talking about before about the browser, where, hey, I'm using it as a ChatGPT to improve my productivity. And the other side, to what Matt just mentioned, is about how do I use this to build business commercial applications, make them AI capable, increase revenue, reduce the lag of speed that we were talking about for responses, make it more intuitive. So every time I go on a browser and I log in, it's customized for me. That's the two big shift that people are looking at from an AI perspective. And everything that's been called out there is literally, well, I won't say it's literally one of those things that everyone that I spoke to, no matter where in Fortune 500 or FTSE 100 back in the UK, I found everyone has this concern on the business application side where there's such a big unknown, and these kind of things where you're relying on a third-party LLM model from ChatGPT, Claude, wherever, to understand, hey, is this safe? I don't know, because even they don't know if it's safe or not. So I think things like these are very important to have a comprehensive AI platform, AI security platform in this particular case, to understand the posture of it, to understand if my model is secure or not. I'm sure it's going to go into a few more of it, but there's the apps, the agents, productivity, the browser side. You do need a whole platform for this. It just can't be like to what a lot of people believe, oh, I just have one thing for something else and another for something else. It almost needs to be a holistic platform for this. So I think for me, one of those exciting points as I went through the entire thing before I came for the watch party was, oh, wait, they get it. Because as I'm researching the book, I had these same conversations. Everyone's looking for like one platform for the end-to-end AI piece rather than trying to figure out, oh, I'm going to go to here for my ASPM or AISPM. I'm going to go here for my model security. This is for my application security. This is my business security. I mean, so many things I connected with the conversation. So clearly sounded like they were talking to customers and before they went down the path of building something in this. So yeah, anyway, sorry, I can go on a rant about this, but I just wanted to put that hot off the press out there because I think for people who are at least in this particular space, they'll definitely relate to everything that's being called out over here.
Yeah, for sure. And it's so nice because you have two sides of AI, right? You have people that are like, oh, we need to just block it and like lock it down because we can't control what users are doing, right? And then we have the other side. It's like where we're trying to move so fast that it's gonna like we're gonna definitely break things, but we might break things for like bad, right? Sometimes it's good to break things a little bit, and I feel like Palo Alto Networks and like just Prisma Airs in general allows you kind of move at like the 40 to 60% speed, which is like safe speed, and like use AI for like the right things and like lock it down with confidence for your company. So I think it's like it's looking at all of the right things, right? Like everything on this slide, the AI model security, AI posture management, AI red teaming, AI runtime security, AI agent security. And it's already like looking at all those things for you and allowing you to kind of have confidence with while using AI in like a secure way.
I was going to say it's an interesting one. If I were to just paint a picture for people who may not have done application, to your point, Caitlin, that's a good point. Because while I'm excited about AI and I get on a high horse, I definitely want to call out there are a lot of people who have actually said, no, we don't want more AI. So for people in the audience who have not seen it, the only thing I'll call out, if you want to understand AI from a very simple perspective, I think I did a video on this, which is more about AI is just a math with an ego. You just need to understand it a bit better. And the funniest thing is a lot of skepticism comes from the fact that if you ask AI questions on topics that you don't know answers to, it sounds really smart. But the moment you start asking questions which you have answers to, you start realizing that you start seeing through the cracks of it. And to put this in a whole pipeline thing, for most people who would be building business applications that are going to be AI enabled, your entire pipeline would have a model pipeline, which is that top right, AI model security. That's where that comes in. It would be built on infrastructure, which is on cloud or on data centers. That's where your AI posture management comes in. You would also be building applications that are going into production. That's where your AI runtime security comes in. And AI red teaming comes over there because you have to do continuous red team. Because expecting the model to just stay still while, say, OpenAI comes up with, I don't know, 6.0 or whatever the GPT-6 is after. And the last one being AI agent security. The two biggest patterns for architecture for AI today, one is I'm building a RAG or a RAG internal data source to have my vector database or my internal knowledge source being available to AI. The second way people are building is they're integrating AI agents. I'm going to stop there because before I overload people with information, but that's why this slide is kind of like a holistic picture of all of it for me personally.
Yeah, you said it right, but this is kind of when I say the both sides of AI, this is you are putting AI in your products security, right? So the browser was talking about letting your employees use this stuff safely with guardrails. This is you've launched an AI feature. And then we're going to get to how do you and Palo Alto Networks are using AI to do other security tasks, right? So there's kind of these different avenues. The red team, I just wanted to highlight the red teaming one here because a lot of people get confused. This isn't in this particular sense. We're not talking like using AI to red team to find vulnerabilities. This is testing your AI like feature to make sure that it doesn't misbehave, right? So say you launch some sort of AI like customer help chatbot on like your website. This is make sure that doesn't leak internal information or, say some stuff that it shouldn't stay, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
To boil it down.
It's a good distinction. I'm just still pulling out confetti from my bottle of water here.
I know all of us got it in our drinks. I was pulling it out earlier.
I can't drink water. I just give me water. I'm like, oh my God, it's confetti in my mouth.
We could probably play again.
This is a lot of confetti. I mean, I want to just keep playing with it. I had to do it.
I'm going to get some looks in this office. I had one stuck to the ceiling. It fell down like, while we were talking and just like.
I love confetti. So like, oh yeah, ecosystem.
That slide was so good that we paused on it and like talked about it. I'm sure they're going to hit a bunch of stuff that we just said now, but it's okay. That slide was good and we needed to. This is another one, right? Is like a lot of people don't realize a lot of the AI features that have kind of crept their way either into their own products because, hey, do you have a mature, change management AppSec integration with your security team and developers? You might not realize what got launched, or we're really, really seeing this with vendors, right? It's like you onboarded a vendor that snuck this stuff in. So this makes sense, right? Is like it's part of attack surface management now, right? Like this is your attack surface.
Yeah, I think we have a few people online as well. They're dropping comments. So for people who are using AI, Are we making sense? Are we just going? Are we on the edge of a AI halo? If you want to drop in the comment as well.
Someone said great explanation to someone that talked 8 minutes ago. So it was either Matt or Ashish. So great explanation to you both.
I'm sure it's Matt. I think it's Matt who's making more sense here than I'm just drinking confetti.
Oh, we're in trouble. We're in trouble if
is this considered red dye 40? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think this is the Prisma Airs one, the agent platform. I think Matt, I think you said there's something interesting which I want to bring up while we have this particular slide going on at the demo of Prisma Airs. It's I think the future people have been noticing. If you haven't seen the pattern, we are going, unless there is a change in or dramatic change in models from GPT-5 to whatever 6, 7 that comes out. Today, what we see with all the AI agent being all the hype, MCP being all the hype, that's the future we are moving towards, where most people are going to build their own internal knowledge sources. They're going to have a lot of AI agents floating around. They will require a lot of continuous red team, not the red team that people may think it's red team using AI, but more continuous red team. There'll be more agents floating around. And I'm not going to talk about identity over here, but Matt, I know you have a lot to share here.
Oh, I got tons to say. Well, the demo, I just want to point out what happened in the demo. That was really cool.
The dashboard is the best.
Yeah, but like something that just happened was a developer tried to use a model off of Hugging Face that was flagged as malicious, and it immediately got blocked. That's huge. It's a huge feature. I wanted to make sure we highlighted.
Actually, you should want to call out why is Hugging Face a thing here, because a lot of people would not even know what Hugging Face is.
Sure. So yeah, it's like, call it kind of GitHub for AI models, right? It's like a repository of models. So if someone wanted to do a kind of a micro model and train it on a specific task, and that might be better at a specific thing. Anyway, it's like a very experimental way to like go and kind of kick the tires on things, but it's also full of, just like other code repositories, it's full of places that you could kind of get yourself in trouble, either actually malicious or like known vulnerabilities, or they're kind of old and maybe have a prompt injection that's like a known prompt injection thing that has a guardrail that's out that maybe that model on Hugging Face hasn't caught that new guardrail. Or like you're talking reputationally, right? Yeah. Like some of these models that go on Hugging Face get a lot of those protections that the major mainstream models get stripped. So then all of a sudden you have a model that's on a public facing feature that is speaking in ways that maybe it shouldn't,
Yeah.
Oh, and going back before we start quantum, I absolutely loved like the chart too. Obviously, the dashboard is amazing; it makes it super easy. But the last thing they said when they did the walkthrough was how easy it was to block. Like, yes, it can automatically block, but you can also look at your entire environment, click into something, get all the details, and just block it already, like automatically. And I think that's huge. It makes it so simple for security teams.
Yeah, I mean, ties into the user experience piece we were talking about earlier. You want to make it so seamless that it only stops you when you are trying to do something wrong, but otherwise you don't even see it.
Yeah.
So the slides have moved on to quantum now. So we'll get back to AI.
I'm going to shut up now because I'm not a quantum expert.
We'll get back to AI in a second. Caveat: none of us are physicists. So
I mean, I don't know, Matt. You look like one though.
Oh man, my beard used to be a lot longer. I probably could have gotten a.
You should grow it out.
Yeah, get a nice.
You know what you should do? Cyber Awareness Month. Grow out your beard. It's kind of like the NHL playoffs,
November,
but like cyber. Yeah.
Little playoff beard. I like it. So the important stuff on quantum, right, is like when I'm again going back to like my advisory CISO type work, I get these questions a lot. And my answer generally is, hey, you don't have to worry about it. It's like, these small companies that I'm helping build security programs. And I say that because people like Palo Alto Networks are worrying about it, right? Yeah. Like the big players that like a lot of internet traffic are going through need to worry about future proofing our encryption to make sure that the algorithms are up to date and they're quantum proof. The three of us on the call are not furthering the effort of quantum proofing at all. This is like, really, really low level, mathematics, new algorithms that are coming out. And the real threat here that like people are worried about is like, does RSA RSA encryption break when quantum computers, become more and more capable and real? And so, things like TLS get thrown out the window. And I'd say the one thing that I'm concerned about in the quantum, like post-quantum world is store and decrypt, right? Is like, okay, are people currently sniffing encrypted traffic, storing for a future date that maybe they can decrypt it. And so that's why it's important that we're getting this like quantum ready now, because it like you move the bar back for when that store and decrypt is even useful to attackers.
Yeah, and I think to your point, quantum is important for people who are the bigger players, but it's also important for people in the regulated space, the people who are working in the financial industry, the insurance industry. They're all working towards this. And to Matt's point, I 100% agree. It's not a problem that the average Joe has to solve, but it's definitely a problem that would need to be solved. Like, because think about, and I'm going to use storage example that Matt gave. If you use Dropbox or Gmail or any of the other storage facilities from any cloud provider, non-cloud provider, you're probably using some kind of encryption. That's why you're paying them money. It's not just the storage. You're giving them money for the fact that I cannot go into Matt's encryption unless I ask him for, like, nicely, please, hey, please, can I have your access to information? I would imagine most people would want it to be private. And I think that's where the key is for quantum, because the theory here, or at least the thesis here, is that once quantum becomes real, the encryption that we know as of today would just stop. It would stop becoming the strongest encryption that people think of or know of. And that's where quantum is important. A lot of those threats, I imagine crypto threats are a lot more prevalent, but a lot of the conversations that I've had with financial institutions in the advisory board that I work with, I definitely find they're all working on quantum. So something like this coming from Palo Alto would definitely be looked at as a great thing, because you take away the hard part of hiring a crypto person and make it so much more easier for, hopefully, with the browser experience and everything, where your TLS connection that Matt was talking about. I mean, obviously, I'm not an expert in quantum, and I hope someone else would solve it, but that's my exciting part. Sorry, Caitlin, I didn't let you speak on the entire section. Now we move to agentic AI.
It's okay. All I'm saying is quantum will like break any encryption standards that we have. So it's good that Palo Alto Networks is already like trying to solve for that and stay ahead of the curve. But I don't think like the general public should be concerned at this point.
Yeah.
I will point out, just in the demo that we just went over, the major things that were cool to me were like, there is the long tail of applications that you're going to be running as an enterprise that you do now have to make sure are on the most up-to-date standards, and like all the certificates.
Can we stop on this? I was going to have a stop on that slide because I really liked it, but anyways, we can keep going.
Maybe they can go back.
Yeah, it can go back.
The magic of there we go. Cool. Go ahead, Caitlin.
Matt, keep talking. I just wanted to.
No, sure. In the so yeah, the just like the dashboard in like the quantum space was like, hey, you have hundreds, maybe thousands of applications around your enterprise. Are they all up to kind of that standard? Are the certificates that you've all rolled out, right? So like, yeah, we all trust a lot of the big cloud companies and firewall companies and things like this to handle our traffic and our encryption, but we also roll a lot of our own apps and certs and all this kind of stuff. And it there is going to be kind of a long tail of like making sure like TLS 1.3 is still rolling out. You know what I mean? Like it's not just like, oh, we're good. For a long time we were fighting, the SSL certificates that were still around, even though we were on TLS 1.2. So you are going to have like some effort if you're a larger enterprise to like make sure that you're using it. When I joke about like you don't need to worry about it, it's just that like you don't need to solve the problem, but like once a lot of this post quantum encryption stuff comes out, it is going to be on you to make sure that you're using it everywhere that you can control that you're using it.
I wonder if the people in the audience are using or working on solving quantum or using AI. I'm curious for people if they want to drop in.
Everyone's using AI.
Yeah. Well, the question is, can anyone who's not using AI just raise their hand up in the comment section?
Whether they know it or not, they are, right. They've searched Google recently, and the top in the top
AI
page is AI generated now.
If they're not using AI, I feel bad for them. But okay, we have to move on because quantum is not our expertise anyways, and we're more excited about it.
What are you trying to say?
Okay, quantum's not my expertise, all right? So I'll fully take that. But the AI centric threats to the SOC is huge. And those stats that were up there for a little bit, it's insane what they can do to take down like human SOC. And by human, I mean, it's like we want a SOC that's kind of both, right? We want AI to be kind of not the back end, but we want AI to be like humans to be assisted with AI. There we go. That's the words.
Actually, can you go back to the slide with the stats on it? I think that's to Caitlin's point. I think that hits home for a lot of things that real people who are working on solving this are seeing this. the whole idea behind the attacks from AI, we were joking about the whole Nigerian prince email thing earlier, but if you just look at just generally how much more spam people are getting, or how much, I think I was reading a stat somewhere for people who work with developers, Stack Overflow used to be the #1 site for them. The number of humans now going on Stack Overflow is 90% lower than what it used to be. And I can't remember the source, but it's almost insane. They have more AI traffic than human traffic that's going on Stack Overflow and other places. You almost have to wonder that, hey, internet in general is now taken over slowly and steadily by all the AI bots. So that 100x is not just across your enterprise, but across the internet in general. I'd call out. And I think it's worthwhile noting that a lot of, obviously, my work perhaps is mainly on I am building an AI application. How do I secure it, or how do I scale it? But every time I go into a conversation where I have this, it's the exact same conversation on how do I secure it, or what's the ROI for it. One thing people always get interested to, or people's ear peeks in, is hey, isn't this dynamic? What's my SOC going to do if my general traditional SOC, and I say traditional with a quote on top because we're still, if you're dealing with cloud containers, serverless, you're not traditional, but at least in the sense of AI, you may be a bit traditional. Not having information from your cloud, your different kinds of compute running underneath it, different types of on-premise devices you may be running, applications you're running on-premise as well as on-cloud, multi-cloud. I can throw all the acronyms, but the reality of it is today, if the number of attacks on the internet are higher in general, which means the SOC teams are getting a lot more alerts that they have to sweep through that they could not work through before in general. There's AI, so SOC fatigue is a thing. Now that's being amplified, but not being able to identify quickly that, hey, I want to be able to investigate this particular blog or this particular alert is coming from my cloud environment, which is an AWS environment, Azure environment. Can I quickly call it out as a false positive, having a path to it? I think those are key metrics that people should be looking out for in any SOC that they're building in 2026 and beyond. Because just having parts of it, and I'm going to have a SOC analyst go through all the different endpoints in my environment, figure it out, take 1 hour, 2 hours to figure that out. Hopefully they find the right owner and get to the problem. That's not the way to run SOC. It's things like these where you're all able to have one platform for all the endpoints you're going towards. That's at least the future. At least that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm seeing people do. That's what we're concerned about.
We're walking through all the great why they built the #1 SOC platform right now.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. There you go. Well, this is a slide we should have been on.
Well, this is the topic that you guys are gonna have to shut me up on this one. So, I've done a lot of incident response in my day, right? I've been the one that got the page at 1 o'clock in the morning, more times than I can count, right? And when you're someone who's on the front lines, worried about this kind of stuff and have to respond to these things, any tools that can help you speed up and make less mistakes are welcome. And I think this is just we're gonna see demos and stuff here, and I'm really, really excited about what's getting built into Cortex here, because it's okay, again, I can't emphasize enough. It's 1 a.m. You're under pressure. You think that something's going on.
You don't want to spend a ton of time at 1 a.m. to try to fix
the syntax to pull the IP address off of that box, blah, blah, blah. I'm oh man, I can't remember the query that I got to write in the right exact format. Oh, did I skip a semicolon and I'm not going to get the right results? This literally is the kind of stuff that happens, right? When you're interacting with a lot of the tools in the SOC, SIMs or anything like this, traditional SIMs and stuff. So to have AI agents doing a lot of that initial kind of investigation work for you and surfacing the pertinent information to the human investigator, the SOC analyst, is just such a big unlock right now, right?
Well, and it helps with human error too, right? Because at 1 a.m. when you're forced to do all this work and you're just trying to get stuff done, you also make mistakes. I mean, we're humans, we make mistakes. So the fact that you can kind of work with the AI agent to help you get through it is a huge thing.
Yep. So having those playbooks, having the investigation helper, but then also the triage and alert helper, right? All of these different things make sense as their own AI agents that are built in and bolted onto this. The other major point here that I can't emphasize enough, right? So a lot of people are bolting AI into whatever they're doing, right? The issue really becomes when a lot of the ChatGPTs started first launching, people were talking about prompt engineering. And I really think that that's not the right term anymore. I think the right term now is context engineering.
Oh.
And it's all about getting the right AI model, the right context. So when you have something like this, where, you know, Palo Alto Network's entire ecosystem is filled with context, filled with the right information that you need to do incident response, and you like, boom, here you go. Like, so you're not just like asking one of the main models out there to help you with your incident response. No, you're helping an AI agent that has all of the right context, all the knowledge about your environment, all the knowledge about like anything that's connected, all the tools that it has access to. And now you're talking to it. It's like, oh, okay. Like, there you go. It's not going to hallucinate some weird thing because
I absolutely love that too. Because like with any AI, it's like if you put poop in, the poop's going to come out.
Yeah.
I was going to say a curse word. I
Way
don't
to, yeah,
like
way to
that.
censor yourself.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's live now, so
We're never invited back
fine.
again.
But yeah, so I'm like, if you put bad stuff in, bad stuff's going to come out. But you're literally fueling it with all of the right information already, and so it's you're only getting better and better versus, you know, getting worse. So I absolutely love that.
I think it's worthwhile calling out for people who may think that, oh, I'm just going to use Claude Code and figure out how to use AI myself on SOC. I think I would say take a pause and actually to what Matt said about context engineering. It's a big piece over there. It's not about writing prompts. It's being able to get the right context from your entire environment. I think we spoke about the multi-cloud, cloud, container, all of that before, but also be aware of all the latest threat intel from.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah,
that's like another bit of context, right? Threat intelligence too. It's not even just your environment. It's
yeah,
oh man, it's huge.
100%. You're trying to bring all of it, by the way, real time as well. You don't want information for threat intel like 2 years before or 1 week earlier. You want the information that for, hey, this is I don't know, some new hack came out today. You want to be able to test that straight away, or at least have a quote unquote agent run a playbook and find the exposure. You don't want to just, oh, I'm going to build this when I have free time after my project. That's not, I always laugh at people when they talk about, hey, I'm going to build this on my own. Sure, there are parts you can build yourself to make your life easy, but there are parts to the whole, I'm going to use AI to solve my security problem, that just have to be passed on to someone else. I don't think it's practical for you to think that you're going to build your entire SOC or your entire AI security product inside a company when your main role as a company person is to, we sell insurance. Why are we building a security product? Doesn't make sense.
It's not core competency. Yeah. So in the demo now, we're going to see all of the context that we're, all the different data points that you're pulling in that we're talking about, right? So you're talking about vulnerability data, you're talking about just attack surface data. And then, here you go. I love this demo. Like we have a Unit 42 threat intel talking about a new attack that's going on right now that you can just give to an AI agent and just say, based on everything you know about my environment and all of the data points that you have access to, do I need to worry about anything in this new threat intelligence report? In that same sentence that I just said is how you can ask that question, right? Into an AI bot without the syntax. Again, is it 1 a.m.?
Right here, it's showing right there.
Right? Yeah, like, here's a chat. And I could just say, hey, here's this Unit 42 blog. Do I need to worry about anything in this? Or, can you go find any assets in my environment that would be susceptible to this new attack? And like, boom, here you go.
Right? Yeah. And to your point about 1 a.m., you don't want to figure out what's the command for containers, what's the command for the cloud, Azure cloud, or I've only worked in AWS. I don't know what the Azure command is. You're not going to figure that out yourself at 1 a.m. in the morning.
And you're not going to do this with major AI models either, right? You're not going to be able to go to, Anthropic or OpenAI and give it enough context to get the right answer here, right? You're never going to be able to give it, okay, by the way, let me pause. Here's all my vulnerability data. Here's all of my asset information. Here's all of my everything. Now here's a Unit 42 blog. You know what I mean? Like, so it's going to hallucinate. You're never going to get the right, you're going to run out of context window, like problems, token problems, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And here you go. All extracted file hashes are malicious. And here's your indicator database, boom, built into this whole thing. I was super excited to see this.
Yeah, I think this was like the second time I was like floored when I looked at this.
Yeah. It just makes sense instead of bolting any of this stuff on, right? Yeah. Just like help it. I'm like super, super passionate. So we paused on that stat slide, by the way, and it said like 25 minutes to exfiltration. I think the slide was kind of leaning towards maybe AI was helping that. I'd say that even without AI, attackers were maturing and speeding up, right? The scattered spiders of the world are speeding up. And so when I, advise anyone, 20 minutes is the line that I use too. I say, if you can get, containment, eradication, like sub 20 minutes, you're speaking the right ball game, because you know, a lot of these people are dwell timing for months at this point, you know, in these ransomware attacks before they are discovered. But they are usually like good with getting some of the data that they came to get. They're usually within 20 to 30 minutes. So if you can get sub 20 to 30 minutes, and you cannot do that, cannot do that without heavy use of automation. And if AI agents can be, you know, next level automation, we're in business, right?
I mean, even what the demo is doing right now, it's like, it's so crazy that it can do all this. Like, show me all the unique hosts that the user tried to
act on it.
access
It's bidirectional. It's bidirectional. Since this isn't like an outside of your environment product, you can act in here. You can say, oh, okay, we'll go, you know, block this or do that, like right here. Super cool.
Yeah, I think the point that you mentioned about the volume, I think is the key, because 25 minutes is a pretty good time considering for an enterprise. I can imagine the volume of alerts or events you get would be over 1,000, like 10,000, 20,000 alerts to go through every single day. That's a lot of alerts to go through without any help from automation, though.
I did a webinar recently about alert fatigue with a neuroscientist from Harvard. I was like, okay, why did I get invited to this? Right? But I was the alert fatigue part of the webinar, right? But you know, he was talking about, like, legitimately, you know, in a SOC, like, parts of your brain actually turn off when you like get into these repetitive task modes, right? So it's a perfect use case for AI agents to take over some of that initial triage, initial investigation, because not only are you going to get under that sub 20-minute barrier, but like Caitlin, like you said earlier, right? Accuracy, human error. These are the kinds of things. And Ashish, like you just said, like just having an extra set of eyes and help, right? And now, you know, that can be an AI agent instead of, you know, two people. Instead of one person at 1 a.m, it's two people at 1 a.m, you know.
Well, hopefully you're using it in one of those enterprise browsers. So if you do make a mistake as well, you get stopped.
And then here you go, you got all these other agents, right? So you can like bring in these agents with specific context, right? So you could ask a threat intel agent that maybe knows more about threat intel than the agent in your SOC, right? Maybe you just need an intel question. Hey, I just need this IOC. I got to check if anyone else is talking about this hash right now, you know. And maybe that agent has a few more connections, because again, context windows are still going to be a thing, right? Maybe that agent has a few more connections out to VirusTotal or something like that it's got room to go play with.
Yeah, this XIM command center is insane.
I
like the email agent, the email investigation agent. I'm like, ooh, that could be fun. Brings back all the old DLP days at that point.
Yeah. I mean, full circle from the browser announcement earlier, right? It's like, you know, a lot of email does still happen outside of the browser, even though some of it, you know, happens in the browser. So to be able to kind of still tackle phishing.
I don't know, guys. I've got mixed feeling, because I still love my emails from my Nigerian prince for my $1 million. So
I know one day I'll give him the money. Maybe I can be a Nigerian princess instead.
I've been getting some. I don't know if you guys are getting these about invitations to podcasts. So instead of just offering me money, they're like, hey, come on my podcast. And you like look and you're like, oh, this is so fake. And then the threat is actually they're trying to get you to download like a fake Zoom update or like some of that. And they kind of like pull a scam. So
wow.
All right, we're on to cloud.
Yeah.
Ashish knows nothing about this topic.
I'm going to shut up at this time. I'll let you guys talk.
His lower third is cloud security podcast.
Yeah, literally. No, should I
he has no feelings about this.
All right, wrap it up, Ashish.
Yeah, so I'll probably go. I'll give context to people. I think for people who are building anything today, it's impossible that you're building that application not on cloud. Just like AI, but you may not be using AI, but you're definitely using some form of cloud today. And what Elad is talking about over here, by the way, Elad's awesome. There's a shout out to Elad if he's on the stream as well. It is important for you to understand that this is the highway you're going to build your applications on, enterprise application, AI application. And for you to have an effective cloud security, for people, I'm going to throw one acronym. I promise I would not give a lot of technical jargon. CSPM or CNAP is the two ones that people talk about. For you to understand the conversation that Elad is having over here is about the fact that you need to be able to prioritize the right kind of alerts, going back to what we were saying earlier. All these applications that used to be on premise are now on cloud. So shifting left is now a lot more about, I need to have application security covered. So ASPM, or application security posture manager, because, hey, what we spoke about earlier to what Matt's, I guess, remembering from his good old days of being in SOC, where you get all the different kind of context from application running in a cloud. The cloud itself is throwing some security alerts. Your alerts coming in from the GitHub, your alerts coming in from all these integrations you have in your cloud. You need to be able to see all of that in one place. And I think that's what Cortex Cloud is providing here. It's in a lot of ways, it's the next evolution of what the industry has always called CNAPP, or Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. That's why it's version 2.0, the whole code to cloud to SOC. You got the shift left side, you got the place where the code is being deployed, which is the cloud side, and for fun people like Matt who are on the front line trying to make sure that any kind of attacks that are happening on your application real time get picked up, and if you can go all the way back to where it started, is a huge one for most people working cloud security. I'm gonna stop because I can keep going on a rant.
we can all talk about this one. But so what I liked about this and this demo, and he just kind of talked about it, right? Is like, so I used to run vulnerability management for very large bank in the country, and anytime any of these vulnerabilities came out, made a headline, I got a phone call, right? And it said, Matt, are we vulnerable to this? That was the first question. Second was, is it on the internet? And then the third was, is it exploitable? Right. And then that determined, well, how big of a fire are we about to start right now? Right. Are we running an incident for this, or can we run a normal patch cycle on this? And this is where Cortex Cloud, like this kind of information, like those questions sound kind of easy. I said them pretty easy, but they're really, really hard to answer in a large enterprise environment, right? When you have thousands of applications and, thousands of servers across different business units, even figuring out who owns it is like a hard question, right? Who do I even call? Because I'm the security guy that found a vulnerability on this thing, right? So again, we're getting out of the AI agent part of this topic, but the context is still important, right? Having all the information and all the context right here, as you can see in this demo, of all of the information allows you to whittle down all of those maybe vulnerabilities or findings or maybe configurations that might not be set to the right thing, down to hey, these are the actual ones that you need to action. Few dozen, maybe a few hundred is really, really key in these large environments.
I mean, look, it's went from almost 51,000 to a little bit less than 4,000. That's huge. I mean, that's all. So all you have to focus on is the 4,000 assets at risk.
And then in reality, we have 200 that are what we're working on right now, right? So and then being able to answer that, hey, this is where that asset is. Yes, it is on the internet, and yes, I think it's exploitable. Just baked in is literally that took teams of people in past lives for me to be able to answer those three questions.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to be able to have all of that in one place. So irrespective of, this is where the world is going. And so far we have spoken about the browser side, where I think we started the conversation with the two sides of how people use it. The productivity side, which is that browser, that, hey, I have a browser, which is my enterprise browser. I have my quantum piece covered over there as well from an encryption perspective. And then we moved on to how people are using or building AI integration into business applications, the whole evolution of AI agent, how do you protect them, AI SPM, all of that. And now bringing it back to where you're actually building the entire cloud. I think that's kind of where, also entire application, which is the cloud piece. I feel like we have a holistic view on where the current ecosystem is of the enterprise. And we've kind of gone through all of those. But I definitely feel like there's a lot of little nuggets over here for people who are trying to have solved the problem, not solve the problem. They'll be able to at least understand that, hey, this is where you need to, or this is what you need to prepare for as you go more towards building a program, more about building a SOC for your next team, for the next year, building a cloud security team for next year, building AI capability in your organization for next year. There's so much to kind of look at. Even if you just go through the entire Ignite and just go through some of the highlights of what people are saying, that is literally what everyone else is also talking about in terms of the enterprise customers, the medium-sized customers. Everyone's going through that same evolution. So you almost need to picture one or more of these components as an essential part of your 2026 security program at least for me personally, everyone that I'm talking to in the advisory board that I run with Fortune 500 companies, they're all doing this. So if you're listening or watching this, I would definitely go, hey, at least consider going through this entire thing. We've obviously gone through the watch party, but I mean, I had so much nuggets over here.
Yeah. So I just asked to pause on the screen while you were talking, because again, talking about context, I don't think we've talked enough about the code to cloud part here, right? And this is all those data sources on the left that we're talking about are not like usual data sources when you talk about cloud security, right? This, SemGraph, GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, like this is all your code, right? And this is all the findings coming around your code. And when we can hit play again, but like when they were talking, they were saying, shift left is kind of an overused term at this point, right? But like now this is what we're really talking about, is like finding these things early, making sure that they don't end up in production. So you don't get, I'm going to overuse, so you don't get that 1 a.m. call. Can you tell that I'm scarred deeply?
You can say 3 a.m. if you want.
I mean, this is turning into a therapy call now.
She's going to call me at 1 o'clock in the morning today, just to like say, hey. Yeah, so shifting left, users can see 90% reduction in risks in their production environment is like what he just said, right? And it's because of all of that, again, additional context being brought together in the same place. Normally, you would have a team of people, AppSec professionals, cloud security professionals. Usually, those are two different teams, by the way, right? Who would know a lot about cloud security and then know a lot about AppSec, who are then trying to figure out, hey, where are we running this module for, this Java middleware or whatever it is. Now I got to go find that. A lot of this stuff is notoriously hard to find on network too, right? You go back to like Struts vulnerabilities. We had T-shirts printed when Struts when we finished incident response about a Struts vulnerability. It was so hard to find. So again, marrying all this stuff is kind of like the way to do it.
Yeah, preparing for it, and more. It is more as well.
ShamWow.
Perfect timing.
Billy Mays.
Yeah. I definitely want to call out the ASPM piece for at least people who don't know the ASPM piece, which is the application security product management or platform management. Let's just go platform management. I'm sure someone in the comment section will correct me what that is, but I think that ASPM is the newest wave of thinking that people have on how this cloud security world has evolved. So we need to be able to understand this. But I'm going to stop, otherwise I'll keep going. Oh, I think we're almost at the end of this as well. Thank you. We're extremely excited. I've got my second confetti. Anyone has another confetti left, by the way?
Oh, I don't. I did not leave the second one.
I have the second one, but I'm a little afraid. I feel like it's already getting. Well, you don't have to clean it up.
Oh, yeah.
The
mess is already there. We just need to own it now. The mess is already there. So I've got a ready. We're doing it, Caitlin. We're doing it in 3, 2, 1. Come on.
Hold on. I have to get. That was the one that was used.
I literally don't know where the other one is.
All right.
These things terrify me. Are we doing it?
Yeah, we're doing it. I've got a handyman here. All right. 3, 2, 1. Wow, it's like That
it was the same one. I don't have the other one. I'm sorry. I was pretending.
I hope you enjoyed the live stream.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you guys so much for joining. I don't know, are there any questions in the chat? I don't know if we have time to stay, but if there's like really good questions that came up, if you guys see them on your end, because I think I can only see the comments from my side. But if you guys have any good ones, if not, we can close it out. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Great. Thank you so much for making it fun.
No questions, right? We're good. We've pretty much answered everything.
We're probably never invited back, but
Matt, we will be invited back at 1 a.m. So
yeah,
you cannot have my phone number. I'm sorry.
Well,
they already have your address for this. So
no, pretty please.
We'll just be knocking on your door.
My OPSEC for party poppers is terrible.
I know.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone. It was so great to be here with you and to talk with you guys. And thanks, Matt and Ashish, for everything and being all super smart and technical.
Thanks, Palo Alto Networks, for having us.
Yeah. And thank you, Palo Alto, for having us. But
check out Palo Alto Networks because they clearly know what they're doing and it's amazing. So,
Sweet.
Thanks, everyone.